I want to scream. I want to scream so bad. Hello, YouTube, and all my alien armada out there. We are going to be diving into Hermitcraft, the complete story today. Shout out to MC Gaming. I reached out to him to see if it was okay for me to react to this, and he enthusiastically said yes and told me to send him the video afterward. This has been years in the making. Many of you have subscribed to my channel when I first started reacting to Dream SMP stuff, and back then you guys were telling me to react to Hermitcraft. The problem was that the original creators of Hermitcraft expressed issues with reactors reacting to their content. So I decided to wait on this entire endeavor. But shout out, like I said, to MC Gaming for compiling the story of Hermitcraft and putting it together into a digestible video for me to check out and to finally get into. If you enjoy me reacting to Hermitcraft and you want to see more, hit that like button and subscribe today. Join the Alien Armada. Also suggest other videos that you want to see me react to or other things you want me to get into and deep dive into. Please get in that comment section. Once again, shout out to MC Gaming. Thank you very much for allowing me to react to this. The link to his video will be in the description below, and of course his channel. Please go subscribe. This has been years. We're finally getting into it.
For the past 10 years, Hermitcraft has pushed the limits of what's possible in Minecraft. By bringing together some of the most creative and entertaining creators in the game, the server's breathtaking builds and exciting content has captivated millions of people. So join me today as we explore the early days of the server, telling part 1 of Hermitcraft. Really quick, if you haven't already,
I was not ready to see older Evan with a beard though. Okay.
Make sure to subscribe to the channel as this video took a long time to make. Also, you won't want to miss out on future episodes. Thank you, and enjoy the video.
Our boy is growing up.
The year is 2012. Just a few months ago, Minecraft had its full public release and is taking the internet by storm. Let's plays and tutorials of the game dominated YouTube, and countless people solidified themselves in history as the first generation.
Yep, that's Captain Sparkles, right? Captain Sparkles, legendary YouTuber. Another reason why I wanted to cover this too is because Minecraft saw several resurgences over the last, 15 years or decade or whatever. And one of the resurgence that people don't immediately credit, I noticed, is the Hermitcraft series
Of Minecraft YouTubers. One of these people was Generic B. For the past 9 months, Generic B had uploaded mostly Minecraft tutorials as well as a Let's Play series on his channel, managing to reach just over 22,000 subscribers, which for the time made him one of the more successful Minecraft channels on the platform.
Wow.
But Generic was far from satisfied, as he knew the future of Minecraft wouldn't be in single player. No, the real content was in survival multiplayer servers, what would soon be known as SMPs. For years, the Minecraft SMP was the biggest thing in Minecraft, a server where many of the game's biggest creators got together to play on a single world, creating a community far bigger than any of their channels could have by themselves. Minecraft was the first widely successful SMP on YouTube.
Wow. Okay, I did not know that. I didn't realize that all the way back here in, what was this, 2013? That the SMP whole thing was already a thing.
And proved that the format had the potential for huge success on the platform. And having been a fan for quite a while, Generic seeked to replicate its success and create his own SMP. And so, after gathering some of his friends and fellow small creators, as well as some inspiration from his own channel for the name,
oh my gosh, it's so crazy seeing old YouTube.
SMP.
You guys don't know, if you're new to well, most of you will be new to YouTube. There's so many people who got onto the content creator space and learned about YouTube around the pandemic. There's a bunch of you guys that don't know what this site was like before. I keep bringing this up in videos, but I was a kid testing out YouTube before YouTube was a thing. They let us know about it. It was when MySpace was really cropping up. and they were testing it out at different Boys and Girls Club centers. And I was at one of the Boys and Girls Club centers that they told us about YouTube and had us all going on to test it out. And little do I know that we were free testing a website that would be one of the biggest websites in the entire world.
After gathering some of his friends and fellow small creators, as well as some inspiration from his own channel for the name, the Hermitcraft SMP was born. But before we dive into Hermitcraft Season 1, I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, Opera GX. Your normal web browser is a lot like playing on a super
sponsor. Good sponsor. I use Opera GX too, so I can also vouch for the efficiency of the software. I feel like it doesn't cramp up my computer a ton when I'm listening to stuff and playing video games.
Sure, it may work technically, but after a while it can get kind of boring. But with Opera GX, you'll never have that problem again. With their endless selection of community-made mods, you can customize your browsing experience however you like. From background music and sound effects, to unique themes and mod-specific wallpapers, GX Mods gives you a custom browsing experience unlike any other browser on the market. They even have mods specific to Minecraft, like this one, that gives your browser window a moving wallpaper, plays the Minecraft soundtrack in the background, and adds surprise sound effects from the game whenever you interact with the browser. But mods are just the beginning. Opera GX is also integrated directly with AI to give you access to ChatGPT and ChatSonic on the GX sidebar. So if you ever forget how to craft something or need inspiration for a build, Opera GX has you covered. Now, I know what you're thinking. How am I supposed to run Minecraft above 5 frames per second when Opera GX is taking up all of my computer's...
See? And look, I already got to your main selling point already. I already beat you to it, Evan. Okay, I already beat you to it. I already talked about how Opera GX doesn't load up my system. Okay, I already beat you.
Memory. I mean, we all know what other browsers can do to your computer. Luckily, thanks to their GX control feature, Opera GX is specially designed to run efficiently, so you can farm potatoes instead of playing Minecraft on a potato. And finally, Opera GX even has a built-in tool to import all of your bookmarks, browsing history, and extensions from other browsers. I timed myself, and it took me under 3 minutes to download, install, log in, and import everything I needed from Google Chrome. It's time you stopped settling for just an average browser. Just click the link in the description and download Opera GX to level up your browsing game today. And now
also, fun fact about Opera GX, if you ever come across their Twitter, they are one of the more interesting brand accounts that you will find.
Back to the video. Season 1 of Hermitcraft got off to a bit of a shaky start. After just 2 days, chunk errors resulted in the server being reset. And just 2 weeks later, another server crash corrupted the world and they had to restart yet again. This time when he spawned in, Generic found himself at the edge of a plains biome, staring straight across the ocean at a mushroom island. In contrast to the past 2 worlds, this spawn was definitely more exciting. And so, without hesitation, Generic and the other hermits got to work. The first few days were pretty standard, with Generic most notably joined by Hypnotized, Biffa, and Exuma building up their home village and a few basic farms at spawn. Upon uploading his first Hermitcraft video, Exuma's channel sat at around 15,000 subscribers, mostly from various tutorials on redstone automated farms and some solo playthroughs on his own worlds. And being the redstone professional of the group, decided his first few projects would be community farm builds. This would give the hermits easy access to some basic resources before going off to start other projects. And so, he got to work, completing a melon and pumpkin farm, skeleton farm, netherwart farm, tree farm, and wheat farm, while cleaning up a lot of the buildings around the village. While Exuma was busy, Generic had completed his small house by the water, Hypno had constructed an iron golem farm, and 2 new members, Corrales and Joe Hills, joined the SMP. And with the main village looking good, and more than enough resources, the hermits were finally ready to kill the Ender Dragon.
I love these montages. Holy crap. I forgot about how cool these are. Yeah, I forgot about how cool some of these montages are edited. Like, the way that these are spliced together are amazing. Like, you see the time differences in the background. This right here. Yeah, see that? Like, just this frame right here. This frame right here with the background. That is so cool. And I know that that was not easy to shoot.
And so, Generic, Exuma, Hypno, Biff.
Once again, and I'm just going to analyze this because I feel like not enough people give credit where it's due when it comes to this, when reacting and stuff like this. This shot right here is incredible. Like, the way that they're all standing in particular spots. The two are on the bottom left here. And they're standing on the middle pearls here. And the way this shot is top down with them over the actual portal is pro as hell. Like, this is artistic vision. Okay? It is so hard to get a shot like this, and for it to look so good is a testament to skill.
And a new member to the server, Top Mass, jumped through the portal to take down the dragon for the first time in Hermitcraft history.
Like, every scene is framed like a storybook.
Ground, the five readied their bows, placed pumpkins on their heads, and mined their way to the surface. The dragon glided through the sky, ready to attack at any moment. And despite not wearing any helmets, the five were ready to fight. They split up.
Not wearing any helmets. Those are clearly pumpkin helmets to avoid the Enderman. But maybe for this, okay, I'm gonna give him a second. Potentially he did this for the recording, but in the actual footage they weren't wearing helmets.
Taking out the towers one by one until all that was left was the dragon. The five launched a storm of arrows into the sky. Little by little, the dragon's health fell until, at last, the beast was dead.
Cool. So the way that they killed it wasn't on, like, the water bucket strat or anything like that. Like, they did, like, the OG way of killing the dragon.
And after conquering the end, it was finally time to expand Hermitcraft beyond the starting village. First, the group expanded on their nether portal, creating a hub that would allow for quick travel. And next, the group went their separate ways to create their own bases, planning to eventually connect them back to Spawn Village through the nether hub. Exuma moved 8,000 blocks northeast to a large plains island. On this island, he planned to build a town, as well as plenty of farms in a land he would call Avalon. And across many of the coming months, Exuma would continue work on Avalon until it was finally complete. Home to automated farms, detailed buildings, and one of the best-looking builds in the Nether Hub, Avalon stood as proof of Exuma's unrelenting dedication to Hermitcraft and the people involved.
Exuma was a hard worker, if there's anything I can take away from this video so far.
But Avalon was far from the only major build on the server. For his base, Keralis decided to journey just under 1,000 blocks from spawn to a fairly close jungle biome. But what he lacked in distance, he more than made up for in scale. Keralis' jungle base quickly grew from a well-put-together house in a hill to one of the most intricate and detailed builds on the server.
That's cool.
So well put together that a new member of the server, BOO, decided to move in with him, living in a small camper outside. But while Keralis was hard at work, both Biffa and Hypno were busy on their—
Look, okay, I ain't even gonna hold you. We all have that one friend, and I was kind of the friend too. When we did our SMP with Joey, Hot Sauce, and Yo, and later Curtis Beard in video, when we did our SMP, I remember Hot Sauce. Hot Sauce was the builder. Okay, he would build everything. I'll be honest, in the beginning, I just wanted to fight and survive. I didn't care for building so much. It wasn't really my thing. Somebody either moved in with Hot Sauce or basically moved right next to Hot Sauce or something. We were basically living right close to him. And I think either I lived right next to, someone lived right next to its video, because like, there's always that friend that joins the SMP group that wants to play Minecraft but does not want to build. Like, they don't want to do the crafting part of the mine, you know? Like, they just want to do mining, and they want to survive, and they want to explore, and that's it. We don't want to build houses.
Their own huge projects. After a bit of a slow start in terms of building, Hypno finally decided on an idea for his base. And so he journeyed nearly twice as far as Exuma and began work on his temple. For the next 5 or so months, Hypno worked off and on building the temple as well as some other projects before it was officially complete, standing as one of the best looking builds in the world. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, Biffa began his build around the end portal. His plan was to clear out a massive section of the ocean using sand to create a sort of circular area enclosed by walls of glass and the surrounding ocean. And with some redstone help from Exuma and lots of time, Biffa completed what has to be the largest scale build in Hermitcraft Season 1.
Wow.
The server on the surface scale build in Hermitcraft Season.
The rainbow is so cute. I just noticed that little house is like a head, like an actual face. This is so cool.
Season 1. The server on the surface seemed to be thriving. Minecraft was taking over YouTube, and Hermitcraft, small as it was, had its own little corner of the game. Generic had grown from 22,000 subscribers to 54,000, Exuma had grown from 15,000 to 33,000, and many other hermits experienced similar growth as more and more people fell in love with the server. But in reality, it was slowly starting to fall apart. Inactivity became a huge problem in Hermitcraft. New players would join, make a few videos, then end up losing interest and leaving. At first, the solution seemed simple: invite even more new members. But
I think it's really interesting. I wouldn't say cool, but it's interesting how this problem has never went away, right? Like, this is basically what ended up happening to our SMP. And I'll just admit that I'm probably part of the problem with that. Like, general inactivity. If you don't have like a full objective, and there aren't like time constraints around like people being active on the server, like as content creators or anything like that, like if you don't have like a dialed in thing to force them to be on, then like it's easy to just like get bored of the game and to just not come back. You know, maybe you die and you lose some good stuff, or like maybe something gets destroyed, or maybe everything is just in the same state, but like you forget what you were doing one day and like you come back and you're like, I want to start something new. It's easy to fall out of love with the game and then like not really sign back in for a bit. And then when you come back, you forget what you were doing before, and it kind of hurts the experience.
But Generic knew this cycle of replacing couldn't go on forever. In August of 2012, something happened that would change everything. Generic B, inspired by Minecraft to create Hermitcraft, was invited to join the Minecraft server.
Oh, that's cool.
Suddenly, he was faced with the biggest decision of his YouTube career. One that would determine not only the future of his channel, but the channels of everyone else in Hermitcraft. Stay with the server he created, or join the one who inspired him to make it. For a few months, he played on both at the same time, but facing the very real threat of burnout, he knew he had to choose. And on April 20th, 2013, Generic B uploaded his final video on Hermitcraft, announcing his full commitment to Minecraft and ending the series on his channel for good. At this point, the future of Hermitcraft looked grim.
I just noticed that he keeps calling this guy Generic B. And I'm like looking at his name. Is it Generic KB? Maybe it is Generic B. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Dozens of inactive members, and the departure of the server's creator posed a very real threat to the last remaining active members. Thousands of blocks, once flourishing bases, ever-expanding mines, now left untouched, never to be seen again.
That's really sad.
The server was dying, and the remaining members knew they had to do something big. Something that would refresh their inspiration, bring back the excitement and wonder from the early days of the server. And after some thought, the group agreed there was only one thing they could do. And so, the difficult decision now fell upon them. Stay loyal to the land that brought them together, or set out on a new adventure and reset the world. And on June 7th, after a year and 2 months of memories, the sun set for the last time on Hermitcraft Season 1.
Dang. It's a gorgeous world. Holy crap.
Just 2 days after the official end of Season 1, Hermitcraft Season 2 would begin, and the remaining players from Season 1, filled with inspiration from the new world, stood ready to begin another adventure. But they weren't the only ones, as 2 new members would be joining the server. 2 players that still remain active today over 10 years later, Zombie Cleo and Mumbo Jumbo.
Mumbo Jumbo, I've heard of him.
Mumbo was one of the bigger creators on the server at the time he joined. Sitting at well over 60,000 subscribers and growing quickly, much of his early success was due to his genius redstone tutorials and energetic presence on camera. But through his time on Hermitcraft, his charming personality and talent in building were put on display even more. This, as well as his redstone genius, quickly made him a fan favorite in the Minecraft community, later leading him to become the most subscribed to Hermit in the history of the server.
Wow.
But that day, he was just excited to start a new adventure with his friends. As with the last season, the first few days were mostly focused on spawn, with Mumbo and Exuma building a sort of centerpiece for the spawn village, Hermittown, which would then be expanded out to the surrounding areas by them and the other hermits. As the foundations were being laid, many players got to work on their starter homes.
This is a quick reminder, we're almost halfway into the video. This is a quick reminder to definitely go check out Evan MC Gaming's video. A link will be in the description below. Please go hit the like button and show support for Evan MC Gaming. This video is brilliant per usual, Netflix quality content, so please go check it out.
Joe Hills began work on his house in the hills. Exuma constructed a small home using the new clay blocks, and another hermit, I Am Spoon, constructed what looked to be the start of a church. Hermittown was growing quickly, and with the new houses popping up, Mumbo and Exuma, who were both known for their extreme skill with redstone, got to work on the server's first automatic farms. Mumbo struck first, creating a floating iron farm at spawn, but Exuma wasn't far behind, completing an automatic pumpkin and melon farm right outside the middle of Hermittown. By this point, many of the hermits had finished their houses in the starting village and were once again ready to move out and start on their own separate projects. And so, everyone went their separate ways, building some of the best looking projects the server
Montage
had ever
incoming.
seen.
Whoa, that looked crazy. Hold on. Now that's a freaking building. Holy crap. That is dope. It's my style too with the headphones. I gotta admit it. It is sick. Ooh. Yeah, this build is phenomenal.
After 6 months on the server, most of the hermits had finished their bases, and countless massive farms gave an endless supply of pretty much everything they could need. But there was still lots to...
They've been done time and time again.
That looks insane.
September 10th. 1 year and 3 months after the start of Hermitcraft Season 2, the world was finally starting to feel complete. New, even bigger farms filled rooms of chests with resources, builds that dwarfed those from Season 1. That day, the last of the new hermits joined, XB Crafted, finding a world near the end of its life. And so, the hermits came together, old and new, knowing exactly what needed to be done. And a month later, on October 9th, 2014, Hermitcraft Season 2 witnessed its final moments. Season 3 of Hermitcraft would be much different than the first two, as this time it would not be a normal world, but rather on the new amplified world type, which had been added to Minecraft during the previous season. Immediately after spawning in, the hermits found themselves completely surrounded by mountains, cliffs of stone hundreds of blocks high, a waterfall shooting off the cliff and down the side of the mountain. This was going to be their biggest challenge yet. First, they had to find a place to build their starting village, and quickly it became clear that they had to find some sort of valley between the mountains, as everywhere else was too rough of terrain to build a town on. And so, they started to explore, traversing the maze of floating islands and towering cliffs until a few of the hermits stumbled across the perfect location. Exuma gathered the rest of the group and led them to the valley. And with that, the group looked over their first project on the new server, Hermit Hills.
I love the way this recaptures the feeling and the excitement of being in a brand new world and having to make your way. Like, that's what this is capturing. And I don't know if that is the Hermitcraft doing that, or Evan's storytelling and the way these scenes are shot together, or a mixture of both.
As always, Exuma got to work right away, building an incredible looking starter home as well as a golden XP farm on the roof of the Nether. Meanwhile, plenty of other homes started popping up around Hermit
That
Hills,
looks so pretty.
including
Holy
a
crap.
futuristic build from Slipgator as well as a Nether-style house from Tango. And over the next few weeks, more and more builds continued to appear around the hills. Automatic farms by Mumbo, an incredible mountain base by False,
Wow.
a town hall by Slipgator, and the beginnings of a castle by Zul'jin. Day by day, Hermit Hills was starting to feel more and more complete. And so, many of the hermits looked to the other side of the colossal mountains, setting out to explore the rest of the world. Exuma struck first, stumbling across an incredible-looking mesa and desert biome, and together with a few other hermits, they established a mining outpost in the cliff as a consistent source of clay for their builds. Exuma also ventured deeper into the Nether, building a large wither skeleton farm to allow for easier access to beacons on the server.
Ooh.
But Exuma wasn't the only one hard at work. Mumbo had found his way to a large swamp valley a few thousand blocks from Hermit Hills. Here, he planned to build a large mob farm with his base underneath, all themed after an ice spikes biome. Meanwhile, on the other side of the server, False Cemetery was beginning a
I've always wanted a giant ice castle. I really did. Or like some kind of ice mausoleum. I've always wanted that in Minecraft.
project of her own. After stumbling across two islands roughly 4,000 blocks from Hermit Hills, she planned on building a small village in a lagoon as well as a resort on the other side of the island called Symmetry Sands. And finally, in what would become one of the most ambitious builds in Season 3, the Hermits had agreed to begin a new collaborative project. A theme park, holding dozens of interactive builds from most people on the server. This new area would be located a short distance from Hermit Hills, creatively named Hermit Thrills. And with these new projects planned, as well as
That was
countless
clever.
others beginning around the server, there was nothing left to do but build.
I feel like I haven't heard this version of this song before. Where does Evan be finding these themes, man? Where does he get his music? Say Darude Sandstorm. Oh, Darude Skull Storm. Okay. Okay. I respect it. The Darude Sandstorm was a crazy meme, and especially in the Dota 2 community.
Everything changed on March 3rd. For the first time since inviting Impulse SV to join a few months before, Hermitcraft would be adding 2 new members to the server. But these were no normal additions. No. Doc M and Ethos Lab were some of the biggest creators in the Minecraft community. And their addition to Hermitcraft would bring the server to a level of popularity it had never seen before.
So that was a huge increase. So they were like recruited and reinvigorated the server.
But they wouldn't be the only thing giving Hermitcraft a boost, as the reason they joined the server was a result of something much bigger. Since Generic B had joined Minecraft, it only continued to grow. Through seasons 3 and 4, new additions and Minecraft's all-time peak in popularity led to a level of interest in the server never seen before in an SMP. And for the next year and a half, everything seemed to be better than ever on Minecraft. But much like Hermitcraft's first world, it was slowly starting to fade away.
Yeah.
Many of the players became inactive, and the ones that stayed active felt alone on a server meant to bring people together. And now, these players look to Hermitcraft as an example of what they wanted Minecraft to be. And so, when the server owner Good seeked to expand the business side of Minecraft, many of the members felt uncomfortable with the direction their server was going in, deciding to part ways with the once great SMP. And although still more popular than Hermitcraft, it was clear Minecraft was nearing the end of its reign.
Wow.
And now, free from the clutches of their old server, Etho and Doc joined Hermitcraft. In the final months of Season 3, a new wave of incredible builds would be completed on the server. The first was of course Etho's base. Claiming a humble piece of land in a remote jungle, Etho constructed a sort of Dwarven mine. Complete with a functioning minecart system and impressive landscape, this build was a sign of great things to come from Etho in future.
I'll never forget when I tested out Hot Sauce's minecart contraption for the first time. It was so freaking cool. It was so impressive.
Future seasons. Since the beginning of the server, Exuma had mostly focused his time and effort on farms, building a slime farm, wither skeleton farm, witch farm, and countless others. But in late May 2015, he finally began construction on his base. His plan was to build mostly underground, expanding an already existing ravine into an oval-shaped hole in the ground, and making a tiered structure underneath, all connected by a redstone elevator on the far side. And over the rest of the year, that's exactly what he did. Floor by floor, the build started to come together. And in late December 2015, Exuma's Season 3 base...
This looks like it looks like someone's like trying to redo like the Sistine Chapel. Like, what is this? What is this magnificence? Like, that looks so incredibly detailed for like no reason. Like, this is so ridiculously cool.
And in late December 2015, Exuma's Season 3 base was finally complete. While Exuma was busy at his base, some major developments had been taking place in the Nether. Following the completion of Cemetery Sands, False turned her sights to the Nether Hub. Through every server she'd been on, some of her favorite projects to do were Nether tunnels. And quickly, it became clear that this season's path could use some work. And so, over the course of the rest of the season, False would transform the majority of the Nether path to a resort to resemble an airport.
That is so...
complete with shops,
I want to scream. I want to scream so bad. This is so freaking cool. Who thinks of doing this? Who? Like, this is one of the coolest things I've ever seen in Minecraft, by far. So much detail. I absolutely love it. I'm sorry, I had to completely geek the freak out. I had to.
a control station, and even an airplane on the other side of her portal, False's airport was easily one of the most creative builds on the server. But False wasn't the only one with big plans in the Nether, as not too far away, Tango and Impulse decided to team up on a project of their own. Over the course of Season 3, Impulse and Tango had grown to be good friends, and so, when they had an idea so big neither one of them could do it alone, it only felt right that they take the project on together. And so began the construction of the Nether Castle. Lava poured from the walls, beacon light beamed from the fiery towers, and a face forged from the fabric of nightmares. Upon its completion, the Nether Castle was one of the grandest builds on the server. But grand as it was, this was only a small piece of the true project.
Whole castle in the Nether.
As upon traveling through the portal, players would find themselves at the center of one of the largest underground bases in the server's history. Large enough to hold its own custom snow forest, as well as an old western saloon, Impulse and Tango showed the power of hermits working together. But 2 hermits are nothing compared to the whole server, as back at spawn, over the past year, nearly every hermit on the server had contributed to the Hermit Thrills project. And rivaled in scale only by Hermit Hills, the Hermitcraft theme park was the staple of an already thrilling season.
That is so freaking
At last,
dope. Holy
the
crap.
world was feeling complete. And so, looking over their creations for the last time, the hermits said goodbye and closed Season 3 of the server for good. But little did they know, the next few seasons would grow to define the server, molding Hermitcraft into something much more. And as they prepared for a new adventure, their future shined as bright as the desert sun, as a golden age of the server was about to begin.
Oh, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. That was Evan's Hermitcraft Complete Story Part 1. That teaser for Part 2 was incredible. I'm highly looking forward to it. I didn't expect to geek that much on that build. The Netherworld, path that she created and turned it into like an airport was just super dope. But a lot of the building concepts and designs were so intricate, and it just goes to show, gamers, we get a lot of flack for being lazy and, we sit in our chair all day and we don't do anything, blah, 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 blah. But then you see something like that and it just reminds you that it's not always what it seems, okay? On the surface, on the outside, you just see someone spending all time on the game. Then you look at that build and it truly makes you realize how much time and effort something like that takes. And that's true dedication. And to me, That's respectable. I thought this video was really, really well done. Just, I mean, per usual, Evan he snaps on these videos. I'm looking forward to part 2. You guys let me know what you think in the comments section below, and recommend other videos that you want to see me check out on the channel and things to dive into. Thank you very much for being here. I will see everyone in the next video. Peace.